All right, listen, it's November 12th, and I'm recording this podcast episode. And, listen, I talk with hundreds of clinic owners every single week. And do you want to know what most of them are telling me right now? They're telling me that they've got huge 2026 goals, but for now, they're just going to kind of cruise and get through the holidays. But come January 1st is when they're going to start implementing their big ads and SEO and marketing strategy. Unfortunately for these people, the start of their 2026 is probably going to be much slower than what they expect. I think they have really good intentions. They want things to kick off the new year with a bang. But to be honest with you, the truth is that if you have big Q1 2026 goals, January cannot be when you start your marketing. January should be when you cash in on all of the work that you've done the few months prior. That is why the time to start marketing is right now. I think most clinic owners don't get this, unfortunately. They treat January 1st like it's some magic reset button, new year, new patients, right? No, unfortunately not. What happens is it's the new year, but it's the same system, same problem, same empty calendar, because when the new year hits, you're too busy to be doing all this stuff and you kind of fall back into the same exact patterns. So today, what I want to talk about is I'm going to make the case why right now, literally this week in November, is the time to get your marketing and systems set up if you want 2026 to be a launch pad for your biggest revenue year ever. So welcome back to the podcast. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jeremy. I run Patch. We build marketing systems for cash-based and hybrid practices. We run Google Ads, SEO. We build CRMs. We do email drips, all the nerdy stuff that turns, random new patients into predictable growth. And today's episode is basically going to be a friendly intervention for you for the next few months. Because if you have big 2026 goals, you want to exceed what you did in 2025, or maybe you're starting a brand new practice in 2026, more revenue, more staff, maybe a second location, or, just more freedom and less chaos, then, what you do in the next 6 to 8 weeks is the most important thing for those 2026 goals. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 3 big reasons why this is the case. One of them is because Google Ads has a very big learning period. And if you start running Google Ads on January 1st, you're not magically just going to catch all of that new search volume that's coming in the door. Same thing goes with number 2, which is going to be SEO. SEO takes even longer to start kicking in. So if you plan to start your SEO on January 1st, you cannot expect to start seeing results for that until quarter 2 or maybe even quarter 3. Then the third thing is the backend systems in your CRM that you need if you want to really grow your clinic aren't going to just magically build themselves on January 1st. You're not going to magically learn how to actually use those systems on January 1st. So I'm going to deep dive into all 3 of those. And if you stick around to the end, I'll give you, an action item list of things that you can do in November and December to set yourself up for January 1st. So let's do this. I want you to think about your clinic like an athlete. We all work with athletes. Athletes don't show up to the race on January 1st and say, all right, I'm ready. So let's do this. I want to set my PR today. You have to train before this season. You have to build your base. You have to do all of that boring stuff before you're ready to actually perform. Marketing is the exact same thing. There's a lag time between effort and reward. So if you want quarter 1 in 2026 to be huge, quarter 4 right now is where the work starts happening. So let's dive into Google Ads and why you should start running Google Ads now, even if that sounds a little counterintuitive because, searches and commitment are going to be a little bit lower during the holidays. Most clinic owners think that ads work like this. On January 1st, you turn on the ads. January 2nd, the phones start ringing off the hook. That can be the case, sure, but it's not really how Google Ads works in the real world. Google Ads has what's called a learning period. So you launch a campaign, especially if you have a brand new ads account, your campaign goes into Google's algorithm and it has to figure out who do we want to show this ad to? Who do we want to click it? What actually constitutes a conversion? What are people searching that are giving us conversion? Are people that are searching for knee exercises actually converting, or is it only the people that are looking for the best physical therapist near me? All of that learning takes time, and Google really needs to figure out what are you actually trying to show up for? And if you wait until January 1st to launch your Google Ads, you're going to be paying top seasonal prices to train the algorithm, honestly, to make your ads optimize for March. So you're not buying leads, you're basically buying tuition. You're paying for Google to learn what you want to be showing up for. If instead you start running your Google Ads now, you can afford the optimization phase. You get through the learning period while demand is still ramping up, not at its peak. Then by January, that everyone that's searching for PT near me because they destroyed their knee on the first ski run of the year, or they decided that this is the year that I'm actually going to get out of pain, or they're just too busy to commit to physical therapy in the holidays, you're going to start showing up for those people. And your account isn't guessing anymore. It's dialed in and you're ready for all those new year searches. So practically, what does starting now mean with ads? What this means is you set up your campaign, you put a little ad budget behind it, you get your landing page in place, you get all of the conversion tracking set up correctly, you make sure your calls are set up correctly, and week one, you're gathering all of that data, you're seeing what people are searching for, you're getting rid of those bad searches that are coming in. In weeks 2 to 3, you start seeing which keywords are actually working, where do you have the highest quality score, do you need to fix some of the landing page experience, and more importantly, you figure out what keywords aren't working for you and you get rid of those. And then by weeks 4 to 6, you can cut the waste, you can add all of your negative keywords in, you can tweak your bids, you can improve your ads, and by January, you're no longer asking, is this going to work? You're asking is, how much money can I put behind this? And how far do I actually want to scale this? So again, you don't want to be going through that learning phase at the beginning of January if you want to capture all those brand new searches that are coming in. So if you start now, you go through that 6 to 12 week learning period, and by January, you're already ready to go. The second thing that you need to start focusing on is SEO. So let's talk about SEO. I think a lot of people think they know what SEO is, but it's this kind of like elusive term. You need to show up for some of these organic searches. You want your website to show up on page 1 of Google. SEO is kind of the quiet kid in the back of the class that ends up owning the company 20 years from now, right? Everyone knows that they should do SEO, but they treat it kind of like a side quest of, this is stuff that just falls to the bottom of the totem pole. We'll get to writing the blogs later. I know I need to build these pages, but I'll do it afterwards. When I set up my Google business profile, I just kind of hit skip and tried to get it live as soon as possible, and I never went back to optimize it. So the problem with SEO is that SEO is kind of slow on purpose. Google's whole job is to avoid rewarding spammy and short-term behavior. So when you rebuild your website, you add money pages like best back pain physical therapist in X city, you write blogs, you clean up your technical on-page SEO. Google doesn't go, oh wow, look at this brand new site, let's send it all of the traffic. It goes, cool, this looks good, we're going to watch it for a little bit, and we're going to index, and we're going to crawl it, and we're going to test all of these new pages, and all of that takes weeks to months to actually start showing some of the results. So if you start your SEO in January, you're basically saying, I'd like to maybe start to see some results in Q2 or Q3, which I think for most people is not what they're looking for. So this is how I want you to think about it. January is not when you should start doing SEO work. January is when your SEO should already be working. If you want your clinic showing up in all those new year, new me, people are searching for who is the best physical therapist near me, you need to already have those money pages built. They need to be indexed and they need to be optimized before the spike in traffic in the new year. That means November and December are prime time for site mapping your website correctly, creating those high intent money pages, optimizing your Google business profile to ensure that you're showing up in Google Maps. So right now, you're not too late. You're actually right on time, but you need to start now. So what does start now actually look like? The first thing that you should do is you should figure out what keywords you want to show up for. Things like, again, the obvious ones are, best physical therapist in X city, or do you have longer term keywords that you can be trying to optimize for? Dry needling is always a really big one. Sports physical therapy is a big one. Do you want to create specific money pages for shoulder pain, back pain, et cetera, et cetera? You need to make sure you have dedicated pages for each of those, not just generic service pages with 12 bullets and 2 scrolls and you're at the bottom of that actual page. You should also think about that keyword that you're going to build out these pages for, and you should plan out 4 to 8 blogs that supports that main topic. The other thing if you don't have any sort of SEO background experience, you need to get your site technically clean. So that means it needs to load fast. It needs to be mobile friendly. Your H1s and H2s and metadata all need to be dialed in. You need to have schema on those pages. Those are all things that you need to start optimizing for now so that you can reap the rewards come January 1st when that traffic increases. You don't need 50 blogs by January. You don't need a million pages. You just need the foundation laid so Google knows this clinic is legit, it's real, it has high authority, and I want to send people that are searching inside of Google for physical therapy to these pages. That's really what you want to start doing, is building that authority today. And the third reason is your backend systems here. If you don't have a CRM set up right now, if you don't have some legit software in the back end of your business built out, this is a must to start building out now so you understand how to use it come January 1. This is pretty unsexy, but this is super high ROI for your business. So if you have big goals like filling a second PT schedule, adding a new location, or even hitting just consistent 30, 50, 80, 100K months, you can't be running your business out of your inbox or a Google Sheet forever. So many recently, I don't know why this has happened recently, but a lot of people that I've been meeting with and talking with, when somebody fills out a form on their website, they just get an email. They get an email that say, hey, if somebody filled out a form on your website, and then it's on them to remember to follow up with those people. That is insane. That you should not be running your business like that. You cannot grow a business like that, where if a new lead comes in, you just get one single email notification that this person came in the door, and then you have to remember to follow up with those people. This is what a CRM will solve for you. So you need a proper CRM. A CRM will also automate a lot of the emails for you. So a new lead comes in, do they get enrolled in an SMS or email sequence? Can you enroll them in an email sequence when they fall off of the schedule? Do you have a deals board set up to create all of those automations? Do you have a way to reactivate past clients at scale? Not just, oh yeah, I got to remember to text that guy that I met at the gym back in 2022. That, again, does not work. The thing is that these systems take 1 to 2 months to build out, test, and for you to actually get comfortable with. And that's really fast timeline. You need to be really committed to actually using this. The software is not super complicated, but you need to know how to figure out how to operate it. When you implement the CRM the right way, you're not just adding a tool, you're changing the operating system of your clinic. It's like your nervous system, just for your business. Every evaluation, every lead, every past patient now lives inside of that system that will automatically follow up with those people, send you reminders to do manual reach out, nurture people who have said not yet, but maybe later. And it's going to help you reactivate old clients around key times of the year, like January, which is a fresh start for a lot of people because you can do all of your email marketing directly inside of the CRM. So when the new year rush hits and everybody suddenly remembers their back, their knee, and their shoulder hurts, you don't scramble. You can just hit send on one of the email marketing campaigns that you already have in your system. You can follow up with all of your leads because they're organized in your system, and you can send your staff PT schedule to become automatically full from there. What does Start Now look like for these backend systems? First thing you have to do is you have to pick a system. We really like using HubSpot. We're also doing builds inside of Go High Level. These are for some of the smaller clinics that we're working with. Basically, what you need to have in either HubSpot or inside of Go High Level is you need to have the basics to begin with. You need to have pipelines. You need to understand who are your new leads, who's booked a free discovery call, who's come in for an evaluation, who's in a current package, who are your lost leads, et cetera, et cetera. Based off of that pipeline, you can then automate a lot of the follow-up there. So you have a new lead nurture drip. You can have a post-evaluation automatic follow-up. You can reactivate all of your past patients because this is where you're going to be sending your email newsletters out and all of your email marketing campaigns. You don't need this crazy complex 97-step automation. You just need something that keeps you from dropping the ball on people who have already raised their hand that they're interested, but have just not yet taken that step into coming in for an evaluation or purchasing a package. And again, this stuff takes weeks, if not months, to get comfortable with. Your team has to learn how to log deals and update the stages and build it into their daily cadence of getting in there. So if you start this in January, you're not scaling, you're training at that point. So those are the three things. Let's zoom out here for a second. You're not just setting up ads and SEO and CRM for January. You're setting them up for the the next 12, 24, 36, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, however long you want to run your business. So, think about this timeline here. If you start now, you can launch your ads, you can refine those ads, you can build your SEO foundation, you can set up your CRM in January and in March of 2026. You're no longer guessing. Your ads are optimized. Your SEO is slowly starting to bring organic leads in. Your CRM is reactivating old patients, and every evaluation and every lead that's coming in the door is getting automated follow-up through your clear pipelines inside of your CRM. And the rest of 2026, you're suddenly not waking up every Monday and thinking, man, I hope the phone rings this week. I hope we get some new evaluations. You've got the systems in place already doing that heavy lifting for you, all because you didn't treat November like a throwaway time. Most clinics mentally check out after Thanksgiving. They say, well, we'll hit it hard next year. We had a pretty good year this year. And what ends up happening is next year looks exactly the same, just with a little bit more frustration. So you don't need to overhaul everything now. You just need to start the clock now and get moving on these things. So if you want to crush the new year and you actually want to move towards your big 2026 goals, you need to start with Google Ads. Google Ads has a learning period. So starting in January means you're paying more during peak time just to figure things out. You do not want to be doing that. Instead, start in November, eat the learning period now, and when January hits, you're ready to actually scale. Same thing goes with SEO. SEO is slow by design. You got to rebuild your website. You got to build the money pages out. You got to write the blogs. All this takes time to be indexed and actually trusted by Google. But if you start now, you can actually start to show up when that new year search spike happens and people are actually looking for physical therapy. And the last thing is going to be the backend systems and CRM. Again, this takes 1 to 2 months to even build out and start to integrate into your actual workflow. You need this to help you reactivate past clients, organize your leads, and build that automation out for your pipeline. So if you start now, January becomes a campaign launch, and you're no longer just starting from scratch. You actually have all these systems in place. So here's my challenge to you. Before the end of the week, do one of these things. Book a call with whoever handles your Google Ads or your marketing and decide what the goal is going to be for 2026. Email your web person or your SEO person and say, hey, let's get my core money pages live before January. Sign up for a CRM and map out the simplest version of what your pipeline can look like on paper. Because once you start, the rest becomes a series of tweaks, not a giant, overwhelming project, not a total overhaul of your systems. And if you don't have people for any of that and you want help with all of this stuff, ads, SEO, backend systems, this is literally what we do every single day at Patch. So send me a message, tell me where your clinic's at right now, what your goals are for 2026, and which of these 3 pillars, ads, SEO, and backend systems, feels the weakest right now. Feel free to send this over to me on Instagram. There's also a link in the bio to book a call directly with our team, and we'll point you in the right direction of what, depending on where you're at right now and what your revenue goals are, we'll give you the right next steps on either doing it yourself or working with us to do it. So that's it for today. Don't wait until January. Build the engine now, then spend the next year stepping on the gas and crushing those 2026 goals.